I was so glad I got to see this horror comedy because I was really impressed by it. It is The Final Girls, and please go see it if you have a chance to see it and you love horror comedies. Alright, The Final Girls was a pretty surprising hit for me. This is a horror comedy and a bit of a spoof off of slasher films. The Final Girls stars one of the actresses in the American Horror Story series. Here's her name right down here because I don't think I'm going to pronounce that right. In this film, she plays the daughter of a woman that's trying to be a big actress, but her biggest role was only fodder for a slasher film. But unfortunately, an accident occurs where the mother is killed, and so a year after the death of her mother, a double feature of the film that her mother was in is suddenly being played in theaters. Camp Bloodbath, I believe it was called. And as you can imagine, Camp Bloodbath is almost like a spoof of Friday the 13th. The slasher guy is totally like Jason. But anyway, she goes with her friends and a few other people, and something happens that causes the five of them to suddenly be in the slasher movie. So yeah, suddenly they're magically brought into the film where all the actors are real, and including her mother. And so now, being in the film, the five of them have to try to survive and find a way to get out of the film. I found this film to be really funny. It had some really nice horror elements and a nice spoofing of horror. I really enjoyed this horror comedy. It had some really nice elements of parodying Friday the 13th and other slasher films, while at the same time being really funny, really tense when it needed to be, and it had a really nice heartfelt moment throughout the movie. I thought all the acting overall was good, and especially when it needed to be dramatic, but at the same time they were also really good at being funny and being over the top when it comes to the actual characters inside the movie, because overall this movie is a typical slasher film, and so all the characters in that movie are over the top and ridiculous, as opposed to the people that ended up getting into the film. The five main characters are pretty normal. The film does a really nice job at doing some really funny parody moments of slasher films, while at the same time sticking to the formula and actually having some really genuine, good slasher film fun time. It also knows what kind of audience this movie is for. It knows it's for people that are fans of horror movies and would like to see a parody of a horror movie. And so it doesn't treat the audience as idiots by explaining the rules of horror. We all know the rules of slasher films, and we know what's going to happen. Like, for instance, there's this one pretty nice heartfelt moment where three of the girls that have entered the movie are having this little conversation with each other, and one of them knows she's going to die because she's the mean girl. The mean girls always die in the movie. It doesn't treat us like idiots and say, yeah, I'm the mean girl always dies, that's why I'm fearing that I could die. No, she just says, I'm the mean girl. She doesn't even say, I'm the mean girl, they always die in horror movies like other movies would say. Instead, she just says, I'm the mean girl, and it clicks in our heads as, oh, the mean girls always die. That's why she's fearing that she's going to die in this movie. That's nice. There's a lot of nice little moments like that where they know what kind of audience is for this film. They know that the audience knows the rules, and they don't explain it explicitly to them like they're idiots. Unlike Paranormal, the Ghost Dimension, in the Ghost Dimension, the daughter is playing Bloody Mary but saying it backwards into the mirror, and the father's watching the tape and he's asking the wife, well, what is she doing? And the wife's like, she's playing Bloody Mary. And the guy's like, Bloody Mary? What's that? And then the wife explains to him what Bloody Mary is and that it's a game, and I'm just like, are you stupid, dude? Who doesn't know what Bloody Mary is? And it just felt like a moment in the movie where they thought, we need to explain to the audience what Bloody Mary is. And so let's have the character not know what Bloody Mary is so the other character can explain it to them. And it's just so stupid. Also, there's a lot of nice drama between the daughter and the mother, who doesn't know that she's an actress and doesn't know that she's a figment of this movie. And there's a lot of nice moments between the daughter and the mother who, in this film, the mother is not an actress, she's a character of the film itself, and so she doesn't know that she had a daughter, she doesn't know that this whole thing is a movie, she doesn't know that she's a character. And there's some nice moments between her and the daughter wants to save her mother because her mother's dead. And so it ends up bringing a deeper meaning to the film. Underneath it all, it's about a young woman who's lost her mother. She can't let go of that depressing feeling, and she wants to do all she can to save her once she ends up being in this movie. So it might be a fun comedy horror on the surface, but underneath there's actually a pretty nice deep meaning to it. I was worried that it would be a little too scary movie-like at times, especially when I see the trailer and there's this moment where the guy that's obsessed with the movie is in it and he's like, oh, let me take a selfie with the main bad guy behind me. Let's take a selfie with the Jason-like character. And so I was worried that there could be scary movie type elements of comedy in here, but I was thankfully surprised when none of it felt scary movie-like. One person I know that has seen this movie says that it's more like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I have not seen. I do plan on seeing that movie, but I can't judge if it's like that or not just yet. Similar to Crimson Peak, there's a lot of unique colors throughout this movie, especially towards the end. There's a lot of retro 80s style that almost reminds me of The Guest. So if you're a fan of that kind of film, then maybe give this a try. The final fight at the end becomes over the top and absolutely crazy, but I enjoyed it. It's also really neat when the characters are self-aware that they're in a movie. There's these moments where the title screen will pop up. Well, to them, they can see the title screen. There's like subtitles. They end up in a flashback. There's all these different things, and it's really fun when they actually use that to their advantage to try to escape the killer. There's some really unique, really fun moments in this movie that I just had a blast watching. I think ultimately The Final Girls is my favorite horror comedy movie this year so far. For that, I'm going to give The Final Girls 4.5 stars. So have you seen The Final Girls? What did you think about it? Go ahead and comment. If not, what is your favorite parody of a horror movie? As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.